Like the video, comment below your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. The powerful elite have persecuted me without a cause, but my heart trembles in awe because of your miracle words. Your promises are the source of my bubbling joy. The revelation of your word thrills me like one who has discovered hidden treasure. I despise every lie and hate every falsehood, for I am passionate about keeping your precepts. I stop to praise you 7 times a day. All because your ways are perfect. There is such a great peace and well-being that comes to the lovers of your word, and they will never be offended. Lord, I am longing for more of your salvation, for I want to do what pleases you. My love for your ways is indescribable. In my innermost being, I want to follow them perfectly. I want to keep your instructions and follow your counsel. All my ways are an open book before you. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "Listen to this internal truth. The person who sneaks over the wall to enter into the sheep pen, rather than coming through the gate, reveals himself as a thief coming to steal. But the true shepherd walks right up to the gate, and because the gatekeeper knows who he is, he opens the gate to let him in. And the sheep recognize the voice of the true shepherd, for he calls his own by name and leads them out, for they belong to him." And when he brought out all his sheep, he walks ahead of them, and they will follow him, for they are familiar with his voice. But they will run away from strangers and never follow them, because they know its voice of a stranger. Jesus told the Pharisees this parable even though they didn't understand a word of what he meant. So Jesus went over it again. "I speak to you eternal truth. I am the gate for the flock. All those who broke in before me are thieves who come to steal, but the sheep never listened to them. I am the gateway. To enter through me is to experience life, freedom, and satisfaction." A thief has only one thing in mind. He wants to steal, slaughter, and destroy. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect. Life in its fullness until you overflow. I am the good shepherd who lays down my life as a sacrifice for the sheep. But the worker who serves only for wages is not a real shepherd, because he has no heart for the sheep. He will run away and abandon them when he sees the wolf coming. And then the wolf mauls the sheep, drags them off, and scatters them. I alone am the good shepherd, and I know those whose hearts are mine, for they recognize me and know me, just as my Father knows my heart, and I know my Father's heart. I am ready to give my life for the sheep, and I have another sheep that I will gather, which are not of this Jewish flock, and I, their shepherd, must lead them too, and they will follow me and listen to my voice, and I will join them all into one flock with one shepherd. The Father has an intense love for me because I freely give my own life to raise it up again. I surrender my own life, and no one has the power to take my life from me. I have the authority to lay it down and the power to take it back up again. And this is a destiny my Father has set before me. And this teaching set off another heated controversy among the Jewish leaders. Many of them said, "This man is a demon-possessed lunatic. Why would anyone listen to a word he says?" But then there were others who weren't so sure. His teaching is full of insight. They are not ravings of a madman. How could a demonized man give sight to one born blind? No matter what, make room in your heart to love every believer and show hospitality to strangers, for they may be angels from God showing up as your guests. Identify with those who are in prison as though you was there suffering with them, and those who are mistreated as if you could feel their pain. Honor the sanctity of marriage and keep your vows of purity to one another, for God will judge sexual immorality in any form, whether single or married. Don't be obsessed with money, but live content with what you have, for you always have God's presence. For hasn't He promised you, "I will never leave you, never, and I will not loosen my grip on your life"? So we can say with great confidence, "I know the Lord is for me, and I will never be afraid of what people may do to me." Amen. Don't forget the examples of your spiritual leaders who have spoken God's message to you. Take a close look at how their lives ended and then follow their walk of faith. Jesus, the Anointed One, is always the same, yesterday, today, and forever. So, don't let anyone lead you astray with all sorts of novel and exotic teachings. It is more beautiful to feast on grace and be inwardly strengthened than to be obsessed with dietary rules, which in themselves have no lasting benefit. We feast on the sacrifice at our spiritual altar, but those who serve as priests in the old system of worship have no right to eat of it. For the high priest carries the blood of animals into the holiest chambers as a sacrifice for sin, and then burns the bodies of the animals outside the city. And Jesus, our sin sacrifice, also suffered death outside of the city walls to make us holy by His own blood. Amen. So let us go out to Him outside the camp, religious walls, bearing His contempt. For here on earth we have no lasting city, but we are seeking the city which is destined to come.